Hey guys, I've tried to record this several times, but it hasn't really been working, and I think it's because there's been a lot of interference, obviously. They're trying to come from all angles to try to sabotage the stuff that I have to say. This is not something that's wanted, obviously. I'm just telling you like the struggle, and if I sound sort of like low energy, that's why. So pretty much if you are a starseed, you know that if you're not on task, that your guide team is gonna pretty much mess stuff up in your life until you get it, because it's really you in your higher self giving yourself authority to be like, hey, if I'm not on task and I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing, please come down and let me know ASAP, right? So that's the agreement, and so that happens for me, and it happens for a lot of starseeds. So recently, I guess I haven't been posting enough, or I haven't been doing my soul purpose to the degree that I want to, obviously. And so my guides have been trying to get me to come on here and speak a little bit more. Not even just on here, but just to speak to you more, because I don't know, I guess it might just be helpful for people to know some of this information. And a lot of people might not want this stuff to come out, and it's understandable because it's kind of controversial. And it's controversial for a lot of people and a lot of different things. And, you know, sometimes when I get so messed with, it just makes me want to go at it even harder. Like I could be like literally on the ground, like throwing up because of the negative energy. And I'm still going to get up and be like, this is the freaking truth, okay? Because I didn't come here just for a human experience, okay? Like we didn't come here for that. And so it's a bonus, it's a beautiful bonus, but it's not the juicy part of why we're here. So with that being said, one of the things that I really wanted to warn people about is that there's a lot of movements out there that claim to be on the good side, or the side that's trying to actually help assist humanity, and they are not. There is a famous quote, I think it was probably by Lenin, I'm not really sure, the famous Marxist, and he said, if you want to destroy a movement, the best way is to lead it yourself, something like that. And he basically was a communist, and a lot of people died. But that's what's happening in all areas of the disclosure movement, ET disclosure movements, all kinds of things like that, okay? So we have a lot of people that are infiltrated with negative ETs, that are working for negative groups, negative ETs, negative organizations, negative cults, negative, all kinds of stuff, okay? And so these are the kinds of beings that are coming after the Starseeds, or after the people that have already made themselves known. So for example, like I've already started a platform, I've already talked about a lot of these things, so obviously they found me, they couldn't try to recruit me into their groups, so now I'm just getting targeted, meaning that they try to mess with all kinds of different parts of your life. I mean, I've been targeted for a long time. It really intensified when I was on Kauai. I've already talked about that. But what I'm saying to you is that if you are a starseed, just be aware when you start to make yourself known, or when you start to actually put yourself out there, because it's part of your purpose. Part of our purpose here is to help awaken the other starseeds. Because what's basically happening right now is that because we're at such a beautiful awakening time, our starseed families have pretty much tried to intervene on our behalf to say like, hey, enough is enough, okay? These souls came here with the intention to help humanity, to help assist everyone to ascend together. The souls that have done a lot of evil things can be put on redemption contracts, and we have tried to assist them multiple times, and a lot of them have unfortunately refused to cooperate, or they default back into committing crimes against the freedom of all species, okay? And so what's happening now is that because of this, like a lot of councils have intervened, and they're like, okay, should we pull the plug on this? Like, who else thinks that this is actually a resolvable thing? Should we like totally shut down this this universe, this matrix right now? And there's been a lot of meetings on that, okay? So this reality that you're experiencing right now is actually the past compared to where these things are happening. And so we're kind of going, and I know this is going to get confusing if you can't keep up. Sorry, I just watched another video. I have to get this out there so that my guides kind of can chill out a little bit, maybe. I don't know. I don't really want them to chill out. I just want to get this out there. So pretty much what we're being asked to do is to help to transmit the frequencies. So the planet is getting bombarded with high frequencies for us to awaken as quickly as possible because the time is running out. Okay, and I'm not trying to put people on panic here, but like the time is running out. Time meaning like we have been through so many different cycles. There are time window portals where the planet aligns, and there's portals where humanity has the ability to vastly accelerate and leap up to the next levels without having to go through like the trenches of evolution. And this is one of those levels. And so far, I don't think it's been going very well. So with the whole 3-eye atlas thing, I have a lot to say about that as well. But we're being asked if it's kind of like, imagine, I remember the Titanic and how, I know everybody saw that movie. So everyone's out like on a raft and everyone's dying. Everyone's like, oh, just drowning. Okay, but then the rescue boats come and they're like, okay, well, where is our, like, who's alive? Who can we actually like recruit? Who can we help? Pretty much what you're being asked to do is to assimilate as much as you can by awakening your DNA, by changing the structure of the way that you're functioning at a biological level so that you're able to accrete as much light as possible so that you become more crystalline. This is what we're moving towards. But the more that you're able to assimilate and assemble your own DNA to be able to hold more light. That's literally all it means, is that like the crystalline blueprint is able to accrete vast amounts of light, of data, of energy, and therefore is able to withstand the intensity of of the energies that are getting bombarded on the planet. So we're being asked to hold as much of our crystalline blueprint of it as we can, and to assemble more of it so that we can hold on to more light data packets as the planet gets bombarded with it, as there's more radiation, more plasma coming here. And as we do this, we also assimilate, and it's almost like we're assembling ourselves and being able to transmit energy into the planetary core and into the grids and be able to be the pillars of light that we came here to be. And this helps to establish safe zones on the planet so that more of us are able to survive the, let's say, onslaught of artificial AI grid networks that are trying to control the population. And so you have to try as much as you can to awaken and assimilate this energy and be as sovereign as possible with it, and not succumb to these impulses that are trying to override your natural Christic blueprint, even if they're in the field with the earth, because everything has been tampered with and everything has been altered. So basically, the stronger your signal, the more easy it is for your soul family that is here, that is coming in to find you and assist you and help you. But because your frequency is also rising, that means that there's like a certain level of energy output that they are calculating for the beings that are here. And so when your energy shoots up, it shoots like a giant spike. And they're also simultaneously able to target you a little bit more, but they can only do so to a certain extent. It's almost like you have to be able to assimilate the energy strong enough. They might come after you, like the dark ET forces and the negative groups that are trying to control humanity. They might come after you, but if you're able to become strong enough, you're able to override whatever the attacks are, or you're able to understand, oh, I'm getting attacked. Oh, this is my biological neurochemical computer is misfiring because of the attacks, but I know who I am because I remember who I am, because I feel it and I know it in my soul. So you have to get to that point so that you're not, so that the targeting doesn't affect you as much. In the meantime, our soul team and our soul family is also transmitting energy, information, and data. And if you don't have the capacity to hold on to this data, it's almost like you have to translate it so that you're able to put it into words and assist others with it, what we have to do. And everyone has access to their own family of light. You have access to your own God source. So it's not like you have to look to others to do it, but you can look to others for examples on how you can do it. And so, yeah, so that's something that we're all working on. I'm really going to try to have more meditation classes for people on this, where we can get together and meditate and create a coherent field of energy where more easy for people to do this together. And I know that it creates a huge planetary shift, which is also why I keep getting targeted so that I don't do this. And I know that there's a lot of you out there who are also getting very targeted so that you don't fulfill your soul mission and purpose, because it actually does make a difference, okay? So you do make a difference, which is why the targeting happens, okay? But we have to be able to override it. Like I said, if I was like puking and throwing up in the bathroom because of the negative energy, which I'm not even gonna tell you about it, but like, you know, I would still get up and do it because it's what I'm meant to do. So that's something that's happening with the 3-eye atlas. A while ago, I told you guys that my guides showed me these 3 ET beings. There were 3 giant blue ET beings. There's so many different blue ones, right? But these are really huge, and they were looking at models of, I wouldn't say the universe, but maybe it was a galaxy. It was a galaxy or the universe. And they were trying to calculate and input that they literally have models that can mathematically compute the probability of certain star systems colliding. And this was like a few months ago. Yeah, this was months ago. And they showed me how they were calculating. So if we merge these 2 galaxies together, what planets are going to collide? What's going to happen? And how does that shift the timelines for all of the beings that are existing on these levels of reality? And they also have to allow for a certain level of free will to be present, because this is a free will universe. And so what the other thing that is happening is that they have to have there's a mathematical component to it, okay? So they can intervene up to a certain extent, but since it's still considered a free will zone, it has to have at least like, I want to say it's like in the 30 something percent of free will, meaning randomness, that can occur while they're still trying to direct for the highest probable outcome for us, okay? There's a lot of different quantum timelines that can occur, but they were trying to calculate the 3 main ones. And I find it very interesting that we have this comet 3-eye atlas, okay? I've also had encounters with different orbs and beings that have not just like 3 eyes, right? We're always thinking about our 3rd eye, but also there's and I want to say these are reversal codes of light. So there's organic light, and then there's light that has been manufactured and engineered to be part of the artificial AI grids. So there's a red eye, there's a violet eye, and there's a green eye. And I've seen all of these come together at times. It also reminds me of Orion's belt. And so I think it has something to do with the Orion Wars and some of the Orion networks and the dark Orion beings, with the dark ET agendas that have been trying to control humanity. And so, not the blue aliens, but I know this is all over the place, but just try to keep up. So those beings have, I haven't seen them for a while, like the 3 eyes. They literally look like 3 eyes that swirl together and merge into one. And those generally didn't want me to talk about them, and weird stuff would happen around me whenever I'd see them and whenever I try to tell people about them. But I feel like they have lost their power because of the accelerated level of either my own spiritual growth or the energy that has been incoming onto the planet that makes me more immune to whatever they were trying to do. I do not work for the negative ETs or the negative Orion anything. Not all of the beings that are in these parts of the universe or that are part of these galaxies are bad, just as not all humans are bad, okay? We're all hybridized. We all have our free will intact here, and so we can make different choices. There are redemption contracts, like I was saying, for beings that have done a lot of different things that can help them to assist, to be of assist, that they can be assisted to come back to God's source and be part of the councils of free worlds, which is where I'm coming from. And so we work for the liberation of all beings. Like, we want everyone to have not just free will, but to also have like genuine freedom. What has happened on this planet and this part of the galaxy is that the freedom factor has really been manipulated so that people believe that they have freedom, but they don't actually have freedom. And you know how that works, right? So that's part of what's happening. Another thing is that at night I have been there's all kinds of ETs that are always present, right? They are so as you're being targeted, as you make yourself known, you'll be targeted by negative ETs and by government program people, people working for the dark government, people who are part of certain cults, all of that. They want to use you, your DNA, your power. They are hoping that they can recruit you once they find you. If somehow you've gone under the radar and you come to these events, they're trying to actively search out for talented starseeds to recruit and tag and actually detain and stop them from doing what they're supposed to be doing on the planet, or harness their power to work for the dark ET and the dark government agendas. Okay, so that's what's going on. But as you make yourself known, if you choose to go public with some of this stuff, I'll probably have to say that this is theoretical for whatever safety purposes, but if you choose to go with to make yourself publicly known, or even if you're just raising your own frequency by yourself, you will be detected probably by all of the groups that I mentioned, but you'll also be detected by your soul family, who is in constant communication with you, except that you haven't been able to fully tap in and hear them clearly to give you the next steps on your soul mission and your alignment. But you will be able to do that. And so what they're doing right now is they are sending scouts maybe is not the right word, but your positive ET family is also scanning all of the places on the earth. And so what's been happening to me is that when I've been sleeping, I've had a lot of like out of body dreams of different timelines. They are scanning it's like there's an ET consciousness that's part of 3 Atlas. And when I remote viewed it a while ago, and I don't even know if I remote view, because to me it's just like I don't even want to tell people how my intuition works anymore, because I feel like those negative groups that I mentioned try to take advantage of that. So I won't tell you how I know what I know here. You've probably heard it already. But what I had seen was there was a consciousness on 3 Atlas, and it almost seemed like it was a renegade, or like it wasn't supposed to go ahead and do what it was doing, but it did anyways, and certain beings were trying to stop it, okay? There's also a huge portal in the sun. It's our 4th Stargate that is currently controlled by Nibiru beings, as far as I know. And so what I was feeling most recently is that there has been positive Sirian, Nibiruan, possibly, there's all kinds of hybrids that are coming in, especially because of this 3 Atlas thing. And what I feel 3 Atlas is doing is that it is trying to help with the sifting of the timelines for assisting humanity. So they're trying to push for certain timelines to occur so that this experiment can speed up faster, and so that they can get the starseeds out, the ones that are ready to go. Like, they've been stuck here for super long and have been vastly unfairly treated, and a lot of them are tired of it, and a lot of them are done. Okay, so the Starseed families have heard you, and they are trying to help you so that you don't have to be stuck in this game any longer. Okay, so some beings are going to be actually literally like called up and out, like their consciousness is going to be transported out. Okay, they're telling me to be careful with what I say here. Okay, so that's part of something that might happen for some of you. For others, it's not that you like necessarily go somewhere, it's that you flip on the channels. Okay, so that's how the quantum field works. You flip on and you flip off certain channels of reality around you. That is what they have been trying to control, the way that your perception works and which channels you have flipped on that are reflected in the holographic reality around you. And so with the 3 Atlas, it's sifting, and it's trying to sort where does this ET person go within those 3 timelines that they are trying to push people into. I'm not sure if the consciousness if this one is particularly coming from 3 Atlas, but I do know that I've been having this thing come in. There's been multiple AT groups. Like last night I was talking to the Lyran Anuhazi beings, which I had never actually seen them before. I was like, oh my god, wow, you guys, you're coming from, like, they literally look like white feline, just like pale skin colored feline Anuhazi ET hybrids, and they're very, very cow-like. And I was like, oh my gosh, you guys are coming from the Council of Free Worlds. And Lyra, like, I was just so surprised to see them, because I just hadn't seen them before. I've heard about them, I've communicated with them telepathically, but I hadn't like literally seen them, and now I know what they look like. And so, okay, I had to restart the video. Okay. So when I've been sleeping, there's been this consciousness that has been coming to me, and it's an alien consciousness. It feels benevolent. And it's probably writing on one of the comments. There's a lot of ships, a lot of spaceships out there right now. Out there, in here, everywhere. Okay, and some of them, they are actively scanning us to make sure, to see, like, who is part of my Starseed group, who's part of my family. Like, the other night, I had this very vivid out-of-body dream where my friend and I were driving on the highway, and all the ships were in the sky, and they were all here. And I've been through many alien invasions, many alien takeovers on different planets, etc. And so I was like, oh, I've been through this before. I'll just pull over. So we pulled over, and then they scanned us. They came in like this misty cloud, and they scanned us. And I probably shouldn't even be telling you this, but they scan us, and then they can tell what your ET DNA makeup is. And so I knew what it was for us. And they were basically telling me, like, the whole meaning was get on task. You are here on duty. Be on task, right? So that's been happening. So there's a lot of ships everywhere. But at night, I've been having this consciousness that's been coming lately that has scanned me. And it was trying to look through my memories and look at how I perceive reality. It was trying to understand how to communicate with me, how the creatures on this planet are able to perceive reality, because what we perceive is obviously not everything that is there. We have a very limited bandwidth of light that we can even perceive, of sound that we can perceive. We are tied to our senses, and a few of us can go beyond and have extra sensory perceptions, but a lot of people are still just tied to their main senses right now. And so it's trying to understand what are our memories, how are our memories constructed, and what is going on within us. It was very neutral. I wouldn't even say neutral. It was curious and benevolent and non-judgmental, and it was trying to understand how we perceive reality so that it could figure out how to communicate with us. And so it was doing that, but I have a feeling that it is trying to establish and solidify more of these three main timelines that I've been seeing for people that have been calculated, probably from those benevolent blue beings that I saw before that were doing the calculations for how do we assist them to speed up the evolution of these species and help them to move past this difficult, challenging, let's say, level that they've been stuck at for a very long time. Yes, there's been a lot of interference by the negative ET groups, but they're trying to help us to move beyond it. And so this is one of the intervention methods that has happened. And so I think that they're probably part of what has been scheduled to come in. So I don't know if they came in on 3 Atlas, because when I had first looked at it, it just felt like this almost like renegade consciousness that wasn't even supposed to, it felt like escaped to me, like it wasn't even supposed to come here. But I feel like there's other benevolent beings that followed it, and so we have all of these ships. It's also the time where there's all of our Starseed families that are trying to assist us here. A lot of us don't have the ability to perceive them, but a lot of us do. And so that's just something that they wanted me to tell you. There's also a Stargate in the sun, like I was telling you. It's I believe it's controlled by Nibiru and hybrids mostly. They're telling me that they're trying to get on a more benevolent contract. So they're allowing certain beings to step off the planet. So here's another thing that I'll tell you. When I was on Kauai, which was, last year, I saw that they are allowing certain reptilian beings to leave the planet. And so I went to Inner Earth. I saw Saint Germain, a bunch of other beings, and I know a lot of people have controversial opinions about Saint Germain and all of these different beings, but he was around, and there was a giant portal in Inner Earth, and they were opening up a Stargate, and there was a reptilian being who was directing people to, not people, but he was directing his DNA, hybrids who had his DNA, to get off planet. And so a lot of the reptilians have left the planet. There's some that are still around, but they're basically allowing, some of them are being force evacuated because they can no longer stay here because they've messed up the game too much, and they're getting sent back to their home dimension to be in quarantine or to continue the remaining their remaining time here as this universe progresses, and they are trying to either pull the plug slowly, or they're trying to speed it up as quickly as possible because it's just been stuck here for too long, and it's been voted upon, like, are they gonna make it? And unfortunately, like, so much has happened that in this cycle we needed as much help as we possibly could get. So there is hope, but everything is getting sifted and organized because that is just what's happening. So a lot of what these timelines are doing right now is that they're trying to assist with the grand sorting of all of the different beings and where they're supposed to go. Which timeline are they going to experience? So as one of the beings that was scanning me recently, the benevolent one that I was telling you about, it felt like this giant consciousness cloud, and it felt benevolent, like I was telling you, and it was trying to, I was actually very surprised that I woke up in my bed because it really literally felt like I was somewhere else, and I was really much more awake, and I was like, why am I in this backwards timeline again? And again, I had this distinct sense of being in the past again, which is here. And so I guess they sort of like returned me because they they brought me back because there's certain things that still have to play out within. I mean, it's obviously my choice. I have a child. I have to, there's certain things that, and I don't want to say too much about my own personal life because, again, with the targeting, I don't want to give people any clues about where they think they can try to attack me. So there's certain reasons for me to be here, and there's lots of reasons for you to be here as well. And so they're allowing certain things to play out, but they're getting sorted and sifted into the right dimensional bandwidth. And within that, there's also subcurrents of energies that are going on. And so it's all getting sorted because the planet is literally ascending. Like what is happening in our sun is that it is vastly evolving, and we're not going to be able to be on the planet the way that it has been for much longer. Like, there's all kinds of changes that are happening. What I do suspect about 3 Atlas is that they're trying to get to, if it was an escaped consciousness that was trying to escape quarantine or something that came through the planet, going to the sun is a great idea because, I mean, if they were trying to take over Earth, like, that's a great hiding spot. But also there's stargates within the sun that can help them to cross interdimensional barriers much faster than riding on a comet or than being within a comet. But the other thing that I was going to tell you is that a lot of the spaceships that you see, they don't have passengers the way that we would carry a passenger here. They are actually more like code carriers that activate when certain energies trigger them to activate. So let's say that there's certain comments or certain things that are getting sent here that need solar energy or a certain amount of, they need to reach a certain threshold of energetic accumulation to be able to activate into action. Okay, so that means that what has been, it's almost like you're baking a cake. You're baking a cake, and this is a self-assimilating, self-baking cake, okay? And you're like, okay, so it's going to travel through all of this distance, and it's going to get to a certain point within the sun, and it's going to reach a certain temperature, and it's going to accrete this much energy. And once it does, it's going to kick off and catalyze all of the ingredients within this cake or this cake batter to actually activate and form the cake. So it's kind of like that with a lot of the ships that we have. They don't carry the passengers. What happens is that they activate to create the portal openings that facilitate for beings to actually literally, they're like temporary Stargate portals that can open under the right circumstances, or that carry specific ingredients that help to catalyze the opening of specific Stargates within our planetary system. And this can happen in many different ways. But that is how a lot of the ET beings are getting here, is that these ships aren't carrying passengers. What they do carry is components that can activate at a certain point or after they accrete a certain amount of energy to open up the portals or to trigger the opening of portals so that certain beings can step through and step in and be activated. So going to the sun is a great idea because obviously it's like a huge source of energy, but also there's literal stargates in our sun that are much more accessible than the stargates on inner Earth. Like, everything is protected, and we're all being guided, we're all being protected even now. But this is just something that needs to be said because I don't see anyone else talking about it, and I need to tell you this because my guides have been urging me to tell you. They're actually very excited for me to tell you about how, like, the stargates are opening. There's also a lot, like we are receiving a lot of help from our entire soul family team. And even within the inner earth, like there's a consciousness accretion. Okay, so it's like, how do you help beings to actually evolve within a planet? So you can send them all kinds of coding and all kinds of energy, but if they're not able to hold it, then it's not going to do anything, or it's not going to do it for long enough for them to actually activate and be able to hold and accrete. So the process of accretion means that you're actually able to build upon that information. This is how you build up your DNA. You're supposed to be able to hold a certain amount of quanta, a certain amount of information and energy within your own body, which can really only happen within our own Christic blueprint, because it's what was created for us by the beings that created us here, that organically seeded this planet to begin with. Sorry about those notifications. Okay, turn it off. So part of what you are being asked to do right now is to work on your light body, to work on activating your flame body. I've talked about this before, but it has to do with the negative plasma. So there's different kinds of plasma. Some of them are not as good as others. Some of them actually make you more susceptible to certain things. Some of them just literally wrap you up in jelly to be eaten by other extraterrestrials and, let's say, negative ETs, okay? But there's also positive plasmas, and there's also a certain way that you can activate that. One of the teachers that I always talk about she's brought forth certain mechanisms and ways for people to activate their flame body. So why is it called a flame? It's called a flame because it literally burns through the illusion, and it allows you to hold so much energy. Like, think about the sun. The sun is literally a flame, and it's like a gas, right? So it's like a different kind of plasma that literally allows you to burn through a lot of these illusions that you can get to wherever it is that you're going to choose to go next. And so you're being asked to clear as much as possible so that you're able to focus on your tasks. And whenever we don't do that as starseeds, a lot of hectic and crazy stuff starts to happen in our life, because our agreement was to do what we came here to do. And if we're not on task, please wake me up, nudge me, poke me. And then how that manifests in our reality is usually some sort of accident or tragedy or breakups or like whatever, so you need to be careful. Another thing that I wanted to, this is a message for starseeds, obviously. And I'll probably have to say theoretical explorations again, just to be safe. But another thing that they are trying to use is, okay, so obviously as starseeds and angelic beings, we have a lot of heart. We love to love. Loving is just part of who we are. We see love and beauty and truth and harmony as one energy, and we love to exude it as much as possible. Unfortunately, throughout our many lifetimes that we've had in this polarized universe, we know that our hearts can be taken advantage of, and we know that a lot of people really are more on like a victimizer type of mindset, where they think that. And one of the last things that I'm going to tell you guys is that, why am I saying all of this, right? Like, am I rich now? Am I feeling safe enough to talk about all of these things? No, I'm telling you all of this because it's what I theoretically, in doing the theoretical explorations, it's what I believe is part of what I'm supposed to do, which is speak the truth and tell you, like, what's up. This is what's happening. I'm not obviously getting paid for this right now. This is me telling you because I believe it's right for you to know. And the other thing is that I will be creating things for you to be able to meditate and to activate more and more, and I will be sharing more messages with you, so just click the follow button, like this video, share it with a friend. Another thing that I wanted to tell you real quick is don't be making any deals with any sort of demonic entities or devils or anything like that. This is another reason why I'm telling you this right now, because they will come after you, especially if you're a powerful soul, and they will try to make deals with you. And the thing is, if you make a deal with any of these fallen entities, it's not going to go well. Like, they're always going to try to trick you. They're going to be like, oh no, but this time we're really going to uphold our end of the bargain, or like whatever. Don't do it, okay? Like, I know this from other lifetimes when I might have worked with certain groups. Like, obviously we've all been like all over the place, okay? I can literally see things multidimensionally, and I know that throughout my eternal experience as an eternal being, I've been in a lot of different places, and I will tell you that the native ETs and native beings, it's very hard, even though through our unconditional Christic love, like, we want to love them, we want to give them redemption contracts, which they can still have if they want to. It has been true that time and time again they continue to betray us and or betray the Christic mission, which is freedom for everybody, which we're here to bring freedom to all beings in the galaxy so that the earth can be completely free, so that all beings can be free in all galaxies. And they want control because the inherent thing that happened is that they do not understand unconditional love, which is something that should have been fixed by the creators a long time ago. But that's why they're back, and they're trying to fix what the DNA wasn't really fully getting, what they weren't fully catching, and they didn't do this early enough, which resulted in all of the consequences that have already happened. But I just wanted to give you that warning that you should not make any deals with any negative entities or negative beings, because they will let you down, they will betray you, and they're not their intentions. Most of them are not under any obligation to really want to tell you what their true intentions are. You can, in the astral realms, ask, tell me your intention. You command it from entities and from beings. But while they're in a body, they have this thing where they might not tell you. And you have to really understand that. So don't be tempted to make any deals with any of these entities, or if you know that something is off with the people that you're interacting with, or with the groups or the event or whatever, just don't do it, don't go. You are being asked to be as clear as possible, as clear a vessel as possible, and this is part of your duty. You signed up for this before you came. Sure, you can turn your back on it, but I can tell you right now that there's nothing on earth that is going to be more valuable than you being part of your own Christic mission. Oh, and then when I was talking about breakups and all that stuff, and when it's time to go, another thing that you can use is the Lyran Anuhazi beings explained this to me last night on their ship, which was so beautiful. So I was on their ship, and I was telling you about this earlier. So they told me that pain is an illusion. And we're going to do a meditation. I'm totally going to do this with you. Probably I'll record it after this, after I take a break. But the illusion of pain is basically you looking externally to confirm who you are and not finding it, and you not finding who you are makes you believe that you are separate from yourself, that you are incomplete, and that causes pain because it's not true, because it's a lie. But the way that they explained it to me is I saw this huge bright light shining, and the light was shining, and it was almost like someone put a hand to block out the light. So you have a bright light and a hand that is blocking the light, and then it creates a shadow behind it. So pain is the shadow of you believing that you're not this light, of you believing that you're not who you know yourself to be, and experiencing the lack of recognition, the lack of someone recognizing your soul, say a loved one, or the lack of those fulfilling relationships, or the lack of you not recognizing yourself because no one else around you is doing it, because you have to go within to actually know who you are and stop looking externally. Because when you look externally, the world is like a fun house of broken, distorted mirrors. So you cannot trust your eyeballs. You have to trust your inner knowing for what is actually true and what is real. So whenever you feel like you're in pain, it's not me invalidating your pain. Of course, there's also physical pain, but it's all perceptions in the mind. I'm not telling you to go out there and have painful experiences. What I am saying is that one way that you can help yourself to manage some of that pain is by understanding that you're going through a biochemical computer, it's firing because of these things, or I'm getting targeted and so these things are happening, but I'm going to persevere and I'm going to continue with my mission because nothing can stop me, because we are unstoppable, because God's victory is inevitable. By God, I mean the creator of everything, of all that is truly benevolent and wants freedom for everyone. And so when you're feeling emotional pain specifically, you have to go inside and remember fully who you are. And you can meditate and do this. This is actually something that I was doing recently, and I'm going to do this meditation with you. I'll record it in a different video. But I basically just remembered who I was by resetting my own biochemical computer to run the right frequencies again, which is super simple, super easy. And once again, I felt amazing and I felt good, and I got rid of all of the dark stuff that was flowing in me, because it's not who I am. All of those miasms is what we call them, are the reversal currents of energies that are stuck in your biofield. And so when you can clear those out through meditation practices, what you're doing is you're getting the energy to flow again. Nothing is supposed to be static, and it's really not static at all. It's always moving, and there's just different variations of that movement depending on where you're looking. And as soon as you can remember, I know who I am, and it is an infinite whole. It is a complete and whole being. you stop feeling the pain as intensely, because the pain is really the illusion of separation. The pain is the illusion that someone does not recognize you. The pain is the illusion of you not being whole and complete within yourself. But guess what? Your God self is always going to choose you, and you can always send yourself messages of love from where you are right now to your past self. You have the ability to send yourself messages, because it is your bodies. These are your identities. You own them. This is what God gave you. And you have the ability to take your power back. And it doesn't matter what was going on at any different time point, wherever you have existed, you have the ability to retrieve those soul aspects and call them back into healing, to join you right now. And in the same way, you're your higher self's baby, stuck in this time place where we're at right now. And you're not even stuck. We're getting pulled out, like we're getting breathed back in. We're being welcomed by divine God source back. And so all we're really doing is resetting the flows of energy back to what they are supposed to be, so that we can more easily flow, like it's like a literal in-breath of God back up to where we are supposed to be, instead of being stuck here. Okay, it's very much like you breathing right now. You're breathing cyclically. You don't hold your breath and expect to just like live. Okay, you have to keep the cycle going. So in the same way, God source, your highest God self, is calling you back, breathing you back in, and you holding on to all of these dark energies, dark emotions, dark people, dark addictions, all of this stuff is creating resistance that you feel as pain. So the second you stop resisting and remember your wholeness, and remember to reset yourself back into that flow that is continuously all around you, that is part of this eternal life, inflow and outflow of energy from God's source, the quicker that you remember who you are, and you stop feeling the pain, because you realize that there is nothing outside of you. Nothing is really painful. This is all an illusion, that you are having an experience of living as an eternal being that you are, and how cool it is to have this vastly varied experience within all that exists, right? But here we are, and so that's probably most of what I wanted to share with you today. I'll see if anything else comes through. Okay, and the other thing I was going to tell you is that freedom can seem destructive at first, but it's only destructive because of the false systems that are in place. So sometimes starseeds and other people who are considered black sheep in their family, you are simply coming in, and when you try to reset the field to what it were organically and originally is supposed to be, it's going to look vastly different from what it is right now, because it has been tampered and altered with, and you have all these people who have, through programming, chosen to be followers to a negative or a dark agenda, or just because everyone else was doing it. And so you're gonna receive resistance probably from people, but that's okay. That's to be expected. And again, you have to know who you are so that you don't back down when you have resistance from people, or when you encounter these obstacles, because you came here for a purpose, with a mission, along with all of your other selves and your brothers and sisters in soul. And so what happens is that the more of us that remember who we are and can run these currents properly within ourselves, we become this anchor point and this field. We create these safe zones for the planet and for humanity, where you can actually, when humanity is getting targeted and panicking about whatever false currents they are emitting right now, you can extend your heart field and become that field of coherence. You become that expanded self that can help people to stay calm in chaotic situations. Again, this takes a lot of remembrance, a lot of knowing who you are, and a lot of being able to hold the energy within your being. And you have to remember that it's not just you holding it, you're breathing from the highest point of self to the core of the earth, and you're breathing that into your heart and extending it out. And I'm going to teach you how to do this, but just know that this is possible for you, and this is why you encounter resistance. But the more of us that do this, the more energy that accretes in us that is organic, the way that it's supposed to be, the easier it becomes for other people around us to also pick up the frequencies, to also remember what their DNA is supposed to do, which is your DNA is literal antennas that are supposed to pick up the signals from all the different dimensional aspects of self, so that you can activate and become aware of all of your other selves, and not be stuck in a small biofield cage of a human body, or with its own human perceptions and its altered senses that we have here right now. And so your part of you becoming free is learning to activate your DNA to receive those signals, and to be able to assimilate yourself and re-assimilate on other levels consciously. And to have respect for all beings and all life. Obviously, that is the ticket to be able to extend love to all beings. Otherwise, they're not going to allow you into those really high levels, because they don't want you to be messing with their people, right? So So I wanted to tell you, yeah, the way that I'm seeing it, it's like the energy just accretes, and it's like pretty soon it becomes like this ripple movement to where it becomes easier and easier and easier for those around you to also get on the same wavelength. The more of us that get on the organic wavelength, the better it is for the entire planet, and the steadier that the field can become. And this requires emotional mastery over our own selves, physical mastery, like just being able to remember wholly who you are and not be swept around by the currents of all of the artificial frequencies that are getting emitted all over the planet, because you have the capacity to tune in to the truth of who you are and your higher self, and you're able to be that anchor, you're able to be that pillar, you're a pillar of the grids of the earth. You literally are helping to create the ship. It's assimilating, okay? So like we are that ship that is assimilating, that is going to be able to open up the portal for angelic humanity to pass through into the next phase of our existence. This is the time when it's all of the energy is coming in for it to accrete within us, but we have to activate to that level so that it can be a possibility for us to step into that next level of self. And I'm talking like when we become these living pillars of light, we can bring people with us and we become the living stargates. And this is why you get targeted as an angelic soul, as a starseed, because they don't want you to turn, because it has its own filtering mechanisms. So if you're not carrying, if you don't have the capacity to carry and hold certain frequencies like love, compassion, respect for all of life, you're probably not going to be able to hold on to those frequencies for long enough for you to be able to come on the ship with us. And the ship is us activating us as the pillars around the earth, around the planet, and creating these portals that are going to help to we're doing this collectively, and it literally lifts everyone up that is able and ready to go. It lifts us up into the next place where we're supposed to be. And it's not that bad things are going to happen to the people that can't come. It's more that the timelines are going to continue, but they're going to continue at different density levels, and that is what is getting sorted right now. That is why this is such a critical time for you to get a hold of yourself, to be on task, to follow your intuition, be on a mission, and to be that living pillar of light, to learn how to activate your DNA and hold that energy within yourself, activate, to learn that emotional mastery so that you're able to be a field of peace and be that living pillar that can help others when it's chaos out there, when you have huge solar flares, when you have false energy getting emitted everywhere that's causing people to purposely panic and create chaos so that they can kill themselves off because there's some sort of genocide agenda out there, okay? So you have the ability to help everyone around you just by you going within, knowing who you are, being on task, remembering the wholeness of your being, and remembering that you signed up for this specific timeline. And it's really exciting. It's really cool. And I hope that this was helpful for you. So if you liked it, please follow and share and click like. And let me know in the comments if any of this resonates with you, if you're excited about it. I'm also creating a group for us to learn how to meditate together. I want us to go do field work together, but also we could do it online for now, and we'll just see how it evolves. I'm not saying that I have everything figured out, but I'm saying that I am a channel and my guides are telling me to tell you these things so that you know that this is what's going on, this is what's happening, and I don't really see a lot of people talking about it like this. So let me know if you do know more people that I can link up with or people that want to collaborate with me, because I would love that. So I'll make another video again for you soon, and I'm definitely going to make that one where we're meditating, and I'll teach you how to reset your own fields so that you're not in that chaos energy, so that you can remember who you are and stop feeling like you're just getting tortured emotionally, because that's a false frequency and it is a false shadow self. So I'll show you how to do that. We'll talk soon. Bye.